So the first thing I want to ask is, you're introducing 3 new jobs in this game. What was it like trying to develop all 3 simultaneously?
The best way to describe this, and the battle team is the primary group that handles creation of the new jobs, but they brought to me the comment, I'm sure there are other plans in the future, but Yoshida-san, we never want to develop 3 jobs simultaneously.
I also want to ask, because you're coming out on Mac for the first time, on the Mac OS system, what was it like trying to get that to work on top of everything else you've been working on in this expansion?
So in terms of the Mac OS version, we've actually kind of worked with a trans gaming company based out of Canada, and they are very skilled in making this applications work for the Mac OS, and we are utilizing their middleware. So actually we aren't doing the nitty-gritty part of the development of the Mac OS version. What the middleware does that the Trans Gaming has helped us with is to take the Windows DLL file and kind of transpose that into the Mac, so that there's very minimal amount of performance loss. And so we've actually had a very smooth time creating the Mac OS version, and we're almost at the state of the final debug process. So the performance is comparable to that of the Windows version. So if you've been wanting to play A Realm Reborn and Heavensward on the Mac and just wasn't able to get to it because of the platform, now there is an opportunity to try it out on the Mac. And Windows player alike, if they are interested in playing it on the Mac, we would love to have as many players as possible in the world of Eorzea. So we hope that a lot of players would take interest in playing the Mac version.
So what are some of the challenges when developing an MMO and keeping players interested in such a competitive market?
I would say this is not just for Final Fantasy XIV, but with any MMORPG game. Like me as a player, as an MMO player, there's my motivation for wanting to continue playing a game is how often the game updates and how many available content I can explore and how much in terms of volume-wise are available to play. So gamers get greedy, and the more updates there are, we love it. We would be happy if a game updates as frequently as even every day. So I think it's very important for an MMO to be able to provide updates at a fast pace frequently and with lots of content. So being able to continue that aggressive update schedule and being able to deliver material for people to play with keeps it interesting, and having the players come back, and it motivates them to come back. Also, another element I feel is very important is to communicate with fans, and we want to continue doing so even through the launch of Heavenwards and in the future as well.
How does fan feedback play into the development of your game, and how did it play particularly in the development of this expansion?
One of the major points, feedback is very difficult to express, especially in like a percentage or any sort of quantitative measures, because not only with the patch updates, but like through hotfixes, we've actually taken into consideration the different feedback that we receive from the fans, and we want to address any major issues as quickly as possible. So say for example there were issues from the players that were raised about the UI or certain content appearing at a very slow pace. We try to make those fixes as we go along through major and minor updates. So it's hard to say when asked for the expansion how has player feedback affected the development of the expansion, because we are constantly in communication with our community, and feedback is always being delivered to us, and we are always constantly considering it. So that's the first point. And with an expansion, we also take into consideration the bigger request, a more general, broad request. For example, there were some comments that were made during ARR for more free company activity or more surprise elements that are in like a public or open kind of situation. And so it's more of like a big picture that kind of expands the world of Final Fantasy XIV. So for the patch updates that will occur after Heavensward, as we call the 3.x series and beyond, that's when we consider the different, the larger scale feedback and kind of determine how we want to expand the world of Final Fantasy XIV.
Do you have a favorite
I
race
personally
and
like
class/job
PvP
to play in
content,
this
and
game?
I don't want to be like a target in that. So I like to pick the Lalafell race. So in terms of favorite race, I would probably pick that. And with any MMORPG, and I really like to play various different MMORPGs as well, but I have always chosen a ranged DPS or like a caster. So my current main job is the Black Mage. But with the Heavensward and the new race that was introduced, the Aura, I really like that that race, as well as the design is made really well. So I also play as a tank sometimes, so I'm also thinking about doing the playing as the Dark Knight in the Aura race. So once Heavensward comes out, I recommend you to check it out because the Dark Knight, it looks really cool, and I'm sure people will be very interested in playing with that job.